we are 2 seconds, 3, 4. Actually, okay.
Live, baby.
What's up, everybody? I'd like to welcome you back to the Real Talk with Real Estate Investors show. And boy, do we have an awesome guest in store for you guys today. You know, for the last 20 years or so, Marshall Sylver has been changing the lives of thousands of folks throughout the world. He's the author of Passion, Profit, and Power, and through his infomercials has sold over 1 million copies of his personal development programs worldwide. He's led training programs for the likes of IBM, Ford, KFC, and some other major corporations. He's been named the Millionaire Maker and is one of the most sought-after keynote speakers to date. He's actually shared the stage with Donald Trump and Bill Clinton and some other pretty big names. So, boy, we're excited to have you on today, Mr. Sylver. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much, Trevor. I'm glad to be here. Very excited to share with your people, your tribe, what they can do during these very adverse times to have a better life. By the way, I realized I've done a few interviews in the past week, and I realized that the bio that's on my website is massively outdated. I've been doing this. I've been on stage for 50 years, 50, and I have been teaching people how to have a better life for 35 years. So apparently I haven't updated my bio in 15 years. So there you have it. Life is good though, and so I'm glad to be on this show right now. You know, there's a lot of people that are frightened, a lot of people that are anxious, a lot of people going through tough times. And the number one thing I want to tell everybody, to remind everybody, is I'm a hypnotist, and I recognize hypnosis when it's being used. And hypnosis is massively being used by the mainstream media. And in due respect, the Democratic Party is a Hail Mary pass to try to disrupt a president that's been doing a phenomenal job for the last 3 years. And so I just want to go on record by saying this too shall pass. We are in the midst, 2 weeks ago, we were in the midst of the best economy anybody watching this video right now has seen in their lifetime.
That's right.
And so nothing changed. We didn't run out of food. We didn't run out of toilet paper. We didn't run out of anything. The only thing that changed was perception. Is there a virus going around right now? There is. Is it more deadly than any virus we've ever seen? Absolutely not. It's ridiculous. Sure. And so I want to get back to reason. And by the way, I want to preface this by saying I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need anybody to like me. What I pray for, what I seek to do, is to help people have a sense of sanity in crazy times. So that being said, I am here. I live in Vegas. I was born and raised on a farm in Michigan. No running water, no electricity, no phone. I have 10 siblings raised by a single mom. And we were homeless twice. So I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like to not eat for a couple of days on end, actually. And I want everybody to know we are not in those times. And even though it's scary, and even though there may be people that are looking in their refrigerator right now saying, I don't have any food, Mr. Sylver. I don't know where my next paycheck's coming from because I got fired, I got laid off. My company's on hold right now. I want you to know you will get by. The powers that be, the people that actually care about you, are doing things to make things better. So just have faith and be certain. Certainty is the absence of doubt. You know, I've been doing a lot of broadcasts on this topic over the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I keep coming back to is imagine that you were employed by somebody. Imagine you had a regular paycheck and your employer said, look, I've got to shut down operations for 2 weeks. And while I love you, I cannot pay you for these 2 weeks. I've got to let you go home. And what I'd recommend you do, go home, spend the 2 weeks with your family, spend the 2 weeks in prayer, spend the 2 weeks in your imagination, plotting and planning what your next steps are. Mm-hmm. If you did that, you go home, you go, okay, it's just 2 weeks. And the employer said, look, I'll hire you back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks top. I'll hire you back to the same position, maybe even a better position. But right now, we've got to take a time out. Sure. If that was the message, we wouldn't see the panic that we're seeing right now. And so where the panic comes from, if you'll excuse me, where the panic comes from is people not certain, not knowing what's the next step. Will the economy recover? It will, guaranteed. It always does. Mm-hmm. Will everybody die? No, they won't. Never going to happen. Will some people die? Unfortunately, yes. Will some people get sick and suffer? Unfortunately, yes. Except to keep things in perspective, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me right now. I checked them yesterday. We had 6,000 deaths in the United States from the COVID-19. Mm-hmm. To put that in perspective, on an annual basis, we have 12,000 to 60,000 people die of influenza and what we now understand is the flu that comes by every season.
Sure.
The flu comes by every season. It mutates because that's what viruses do. And so we're in the middle of a mutation. It's not the end of the world. Why does it feel like it's the end of the world? Mainstream media needed to fan the flames in an election year. The Democratic Party has no contender. They don't have a fighter in the game.
It's a
Again,
mess.
I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm not even political for that matter. All I want is a better country for you, for me. I want a better world for my children, for my wife. And so let's get real. Let's shake off all the baloney and BS that's been put upon our shoulders and be real. This is a fabricated pandemic. This is not real. And even though there are people dying, and there's people that aren't going to agree with me, and there's going to be haters posted on this thread, guarantee it. At the end of the day, we're going to get through this together. We're going to cooperate. We're going to be kinder, more gentle, better listeners as people. That's what's going to happen. And so for whatever it's worth, I really want people to know we're going to get through this. One of the great things is you and I might not have seen each other face to face like we are right now, might not have seen Pedro's great beard that I saw at one of my last events again. We're going to get through this. So the first thing I want people to do is choose to be more certain.
And choose not to be afraid as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because fear is living in doubt, and that's what's going on. And you can control people when they're afraid. You can't control certain people. Certain people say, no, I'm going to get through this. You don't own me. No, I'm going to get through this. I don't need to hoard toilet paper. No, we're going to get through this. The economy, while it might take a dip right now, is going to rise back up. In fact, I'm positive it's going to rise up bigger and faster and better than ever. It's kind of like, you know, and the reason I believe that, and I'm certain of that, is the old paradigm would be that one country would be thriving, another country wouldn't be doing quite so well. This country could take advantage because they had money, they had resource, come in and buy real estate or buy whatever resources they wanted to because they were in an up position. Right now, you got to keep in mind, we are in a global position. Everybody's economy is being pressed down simultaneously, which means nobody has an advantage. Again, I want to repeat this. 2 weeks ago, you and I, we were sitting at our dinner table, having a feast with our family. And then all of a sudden, the NBA canceled their season. And then the NHL canceled their season. And then NASCAR canceled the season. And then every single one of my clients, every one of my bookings canceled the bookings for 2020 and said, you know what, we got to be digital. Everything's changed. I didn't get upset because getting upset doesn't serve us. Nobody wins. You can't be any more effective by being angry or upset or playing victim. The only way you can be more effective is by saying, okay, so what, now what? So for me, what I did, because I'm a responsible human being, and every single one of my live events, at least momentarily, is put on hold, what I said was, okay, get off your butt, get your digital products prepared, get those produced, make sure every single course, every single lesson you have gets videotaped, gets put on a digital format. Therefore, nobody can ever do this to you again. No circumstance, no environment in the world can do this to you again. The other thing I said was, okay, it is time for me to get real specific about what matters to me. What matters to me is my beautiful bride, the most perfect human being in the world, my children, and my friends like you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And boy, that what you just said there is absolutely true. And one of the things that I've been doing to keep everybody else positive and motivated too is that there's a lot of folks that I think for a long time have been looking for that opening or time to do something that that they never did before. And what better opportunity or chance to learn something new, try something new, to pursue something new. I'm not saying that folks need to run away with whatever that they've got going on currently, but I think a lot of folks say, hey, listen, I just don't have the time, to ever do anything. Well, now everybody's got the time, right? So
absolutely.
What better chance to get ahead of the game than to pursue something new? Now's not the time to sit on your hands. Now's the time to get ahead of the game.
Now's the time to study what you've been putting off. You're absolutely right. And what I want people to do, I encourage people to build on an existing foundation. So momentarily, I'm not able to do live events. On the 11th of March, I did a live event here in San Diego. I'm at my beach house. I live in Las Vegas, and the entire city of Las Vegas, as a lot of cities nationwide, worldwide, is completely shut down. And in due respect, I never anticipated that Vegas could shut down. It's a city that lives 24/7. So it's boggling to me to even fathom the casinos all said, you know what, we're shutting the doors. We're letting go of every single employee, or at least almost every single employee except for security. And we're shutting the doors. Except that's the intelligent way to operate a business. When the business is making money, you keep everybody employed. When the business isn't making money, in due respect, that's a business. And, you know, I love my team. I love my employees. They're good people. And when I realized on the 11th of March, I went to do this seminar, and there were half the number of people in the room the promoter had promised me. And I walked into the room and I said, what's going on? He said, the effing virus. And I said, the flu bug. The flu comes every single year. 2 weeks ago, I had the flu, a pretty decent version of it. I had a bad cough, a bad cold, and I'm healthy now. So what's going on is a lot of people are, you know, looking at numbers, and I'm a numbers guy, and the math doesn't add up. One guy from the Utah Jazz catches a flu virus. They name it coronavirus 19. And so the NBA decides to shut down the entire season. Again, there's been flu bugs in past years. They didn't shut down the entire season. They were concerned, oh, other people might get the bug. They might, and they might not. Except I posted early on this morning because I was having a hard time sleeping, so excited about getting this message out. They're not reporting on the number of people that have already recovered. They're not reporting people like myself, because I didn't go and get tested. It was the flu bug. It was the cold. I just lived through it like I have for so many years. And they're not reporting the people that didn't go get tested, didn't claim whatever virus they had. And so all they're doing is promoting the gloom and doom. Why? It's an election year. The Democrats and any other party other than the Republican Party, and again, I'm not political. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a human being that wants the best person for any job in the job. They don't have a candidate. You know, Biden has lost his mind, literally lost his mind. And Trump was doing a phenomenal job. We had record employment, record low unemployment. We had an economy that was flourishing. People were going out. People were spending money. They attempted the Russian hoax. That didn't work for 2 years. In fact, we found out that Hillary was actually colluding with the Russians. They attempted the impeachment hoax. They had no grounds. Schiff had irrefutable proof that never showed up. So what else can you throw at it? The best way to throw something at people, throw fear into them, as Pedro was saying, make them afraid. Well, the only thing that we can be afraid of is something we can't actually see. Here we go. So on a positive note, I want to take the turn now and put this on a positive note. We will get through this. We're getting through it now. I want people to start reporting that they had a bug, they got through it, and now they're healthy. I want people to demand that our government get back to work, because at some point we have to. At some point we got to leave our homes. We've got to get on with our lives, and the sooner the better. It's been 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks have been devastating. Except here's what I believe: some really great things are coming out of this, and some really great things that I stand behind. The Federal Reserve, which, as you both know, is neither federal nor a reserve. It's a private entity that has enslaved us since 1913. The Federal Reserve and all the other central banks all around the world are being exposed for what they are, and that is they are slave owners, and we have been the slaves. The Federal Reserve is throwing $1 trillion a day at the U.S. economy, and we're not seeing much of a shift because the monetary system in any given country is based on hypnosis. It's based on faith. It's based on certainty. It's based on velocity. Velocity is the speed and frequency in which your money changes hands. And that's all based on your level of certainty. It's based on your level of confidence. And so right now they're throwing trillions of dollars to the wrong place. You know, everything that's going on, it happened before. When Barack Obama was in office, we had the H1N1 swine flu. We had massive economic turn. Obama himself said, we will never go back to, there'll never be more jobs. Except he said, there'll never be more jobs. That's what he said. And, where are those jobs going to come from is what he said. Well, the jobs came back. Trump has been really good about bringing manufacturing back to the U.S., bringing industry back to the U.S. by giving better tax breaks, to industry, by making things equal across the world, by ending the tariff imbalance of tariffs with other countries, namely China. And so what's going to happen is those trillions of dollars the Federal Reserve is throwing into the economy aren't going to help. The $1,200 the common person is going to get isn't going to help. What's going to help and what's going to happen, has to happen, is complete economic reset. What does that look like? At the moment, and I haven't looked at the clock because they're throwing trillions of dollars, a week at the economy, is there's a point where people realize the Federal Reserve is a fiat currency and it doesn't mean anything. We've got to have some standard behind the dollar, some standard behind our currency that levels it out so that the bankers in the central banks and their subordinates aren't able to determine our economy. So number one, I think we are very close to something I've been praying for since I understood it, and that is an end to the Fed. Our president has also said, to help stimulate the economy, and suggested it on numerous times, that he wants to suspend payroll tax through the end of the year. Well, if you suspend payroll tax, because I'm not a payroll person, I'm a business owner, you also have to suspend income tax. If you suspend both of those, there's more money in the economy, there's more money in your pocket, there's more money in my pocket, we have more money to spend with other people that are also business owners. That's what will make the economy thrive. And if they eliminate income and payroll tax through the rest of 2020, guess what? We're never going back to it. The general population will realize we never needed it, have a transactional tax on everything, pay a sales tax on every transaction, the economy will do just fine. It will force the government to become lean, which it's so bloated right now. So many unneeded people that you and I are paying for, named Pelosi and Schumer and so forth, that what happens is we have term limits. We have a better understanding of what people are supposed to do in government, and that is represent us, not represent themselves and represent their cronies. What will happen is we have a complete reset. Couldn't happen at a better time. It's the best time of our lives. And even though people are suffering, I want everybody to know this. As with a virus, the virus must reach a peak. It's got to get to its highest possible point because viruses don't like heat. When the fever reaches that peak, it kills the virus and we feel better. The challenge is, while we're in the heat of that virus, we can't remember ever feeling better. We can't remember what it felt like to be normal, except when it leaves our body, all of a sudden we say, oh my God, I feel good. That's where we're going. And believing less than that doesn't serve you. Could we all die in a zombie apocalypse? We could. Are we going to? Not likely. Economic crash, it's hard for the economy to crash. The only thing that has happened is an economic slowdown, meaning people have lost paychecks for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. I don't believe it's going to be that. I believe by Easter. And I'll tell you the reason I believe that. We're going to see things starting to return to normal. The challenge is, will some people have gone out of business? They will have. They were hanging on by their fingernails prior. It's not the virus that killed their business. Bad business killed their business. Will the businesses that were in business and thriving do well? No, they'll thrive more because they'll take all the business from those people that were hanging on by their fingernails to begin with. Do I feel bad for the people that were hanging on? I do. Do we need to understand survival of the fittest? We do. It's a natural law. Except everybody needs to be responsible at the same time. Everybody needs to say, you know what, I'm in this place because of what I did or didn't do yesterday or the week before or the month before or the years before. Again, I'm in the live event business, and overnight my live events are gone. So I'm kicking myself that I didn't do what I said I was going to do 5 years ago, and that was make everything digital, produce everything online, make everything remotely deliverable. I didn't do it. It's my responsibility. Nobody else's fault except for me. So while I'm kicking myself in the pants and I realize there's other people that did do that and are making money and are thriving now, it's not my fault. They were responsible and I was not in that area. It's my responsibility. So the only way we can recover from anything, the first step in a 12-step program is to acknowledge the truth, the reality. I'm responsible for my life. You owe me exactly what I owe you. Absolutely nothing.
Man,
I think that's a great point, because I've been talking with a lot of people recently, and I came to that conclusion that whatever is going on right now, I mean, It's not because, like you said, it's not because of the virus. Bad practice in your business is what have you in this position where now you're struggling to get out of this situation. But like you said, the first step is to be responsible for it. I'm responsible for my situation as well right now. It's like nobody else's fault. It's not the virus fault. It's my fault. I could be doing better, but if I'm not, it's because I made the wrong decisions, or I didn't took the action that I needed to take and responsibility to build a stronger business. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us, because it's hard, but it's the truth.
Pedro, you have a bit of an accent.
Yeah, I do.
English is your second language.
Yeah.
Are you Mexican?
No, I'm Guatemalan.
You're Guatemalan. And did your parents come here, or did you?
I did came here 6 years ago. Yeah.
Awesome. And you came here and now you're thriving. You're doing whatever you need to do to thrive. You're investing in real estate. You're doing this program. You're making yourself a better person. You're not blaming anybody for anything.
Exactly. And that's actually last night I made a live video with a friend of mine, and I was sharing a little bit about my story. And we came to that conclusion that if I am somebody who is writing long posts and blogs and making live videos with an accent, and I have more challenges than most people in America, why are you going to stop doing it? Or what stopped you from doing the same thing? Like, there's no excuses to do it,
Absolutely. And so my point in all of this is you are an inspiration to any immigrant that decided to come to the United States to make their lives better. Make no excuses. My mother, we were dirt poor growing up, and she was a welfare worker. And we certainly, with the, as many kids as we had and no father there, we qualified for food stamps. We qualified for welfare. And when I asked my mom, I said, Mom, you're a welfare worker. You make like ridiculously low wages. We need the food stamps. We need that assistance. Why don't you take it? And she said, Marshall, if I take it, we'll have to do it for life. And so that's one of the things, is that we have to understand the distinction between assisting and teaching and supporting and enabling. So during these times, I want you to know, even though the bill is likely to go through for $2+ trillion, and certain families will receive a check for $1,000 to $1,200, $2,400 if you have kids, maybe $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to change your life. So don't count on it changing your life. It might put food on the table for a month. Awesome. Except what you do during these down times will determine what happens when you're in up time again. So rather than sit back once again and be a victim, watch these videos, be inspired by the stories, be inspired by the people that are talking to you right now. Yet realize at the end of the day, in order for things to change, you must change.
Right.
And that's the hard thing to take responsibility for. So again, it's our time. 3 things you need to get through these times. Number 1, you need self-mastery. What is self-mastery? Total control of your thoughts and emotions. Whether you choose to believe it or not, you have no random thoughts. Every thought you think was a thought by choice. What you focus on expands. So focus on what's good. Focus on what's right. Focus on what you have rather than what you don't have, because the rich do get richer. Gratitude attracts.
Right.
What you believe to be true is true for you, nothing else. What you focus on expands, and reality is created by validation. We're going to see some people during these times that will thrive. They will grow. They will prosper beyond imagination. Look at what they're doing. Hack their process. Realize that they were in the same boat as you. They had setbacks. Grant Cardone, I saw, just laid off 80% of his staff, probably a little bit more. And he's not even just in the live event business. He's also in the coaching business.
Sure.
Myself, we choose right now in these times to rework, pivot, reinvent our whole business and create remote coaching. So I'm hiring coaches, I'm training coaches, I'm helping people get more. I've not done consulting because I stand on a platform for a weekend and make strong 7 figures. So for me to consult for any amount of money didn't make any sense. I'm stepping back and I'm starting to consult on a one-to-one basis with a limited number of small businesses. Second thing we need to get anything we want is we need to understand the tools for the task at hand. These times are teaching people a lot of things. Number 1, a whole lot more companies could be working remotely with their employees. Their employees don't have to show up to the office to be functional, to be helpful. They can work remotely. Second thing, during these times, we're also recognizing that we have a whole lot more support than we realize we have. Like I said, I'm joyfully on your show today. I'm grateful for this opportunity to chat with the two of you and to chat with the people that watch your show. And everything happens for a reason, and it serves us. So whatever the tool for the task at hand that you need to learn, whether it's the tool of agreements in relationship, whether it's the tool of learning influence, irresistible influence, so you can sell anybody, anything at any time for your business. Whether it's the tool of learning how to be a better parent, you got to not only master your own mind, take total control of your thoughts and emotion. The second thing you have to do is figure out, what are the tools that I need in this time? Do you need to learn technology? You need to learn how to utilize online webinars like Kajabi or EverWebinar or ClickFunnels or Zoom. You know, Zoom stock is going through the roof right now, just going crazy because of all these programs that everybody's doing. Well, we're going stir crazy and wanting to still learn and be both growing and also vibrant. Third thing you need, though, and this is where I am different. People say, how are you different than a Tony Robbins or a 𝗥𝗲 or any kind of a motivational speaker or trainer? I'm not a motivational speaker. I am, at the bottom line, a hypnotist. I am a certainologist. I program certainty into your brain so that you take positive, powerful, productive action in the present moment, because tomorrow never comes. You are way older than you thought you would be at this point in your life. So the third step to getting everything you want, after you have mastered your mind, that self-mastery, after you've figured out which tools you need to master, the third thing is you must take powerful, positive, productive action in the present moment and act as if your success is certain. Anything less than that, you're going to fail. Act as if your success is certain and take a powerful, positive, productive action right now.
I remember.
That's so awesome. And I'll be honest with you.
There's your board. And your
broken board.
Your beard, Pedro, survived the torch, the fire-eating torch that you ate too.
Yeah, it did.
I'll tell you something for myself, and actually me and my girlfriend for the past few days have been tuning into your audios with the power of persuasion, right? And we've been going through that the past few days, and I felt like, again, this was a perfect opportunity for me to refine my skills and come out of this a much better salesman, a much more positive and grateful person, which I feel like I am. But we can always make ourselves better. And man, I'll tell you, we're about, I guess, about 6 or 7 segments into it. And every day I'm using what you're saying. And I can't
Awesome.
wait to get through it all, because bro, I truthfully believe that I'm going to come out of this all a much stronger human being. And I believe a lot of us will, you know, so
We all will.
taking that action.
The people that choose to recognize everything happens for a purpose and it serves us. Finding our life less than perfect is a waste of time. We must appreciate where we are now, because where we're at later will be where we're at now then.
Right.
And so many people are waiting for their lives to be successful rather than recognize, I'm here now. What's the gift now? What can I appreciate now? What can I be grateful for now? What can I learn now? And again, these are magical times. I promise you that all the resistance, it's like when you're lifting weight, the real growth is when you can't move. You cannot get it off your chest again. Yet you give it one more repetition, that's where you grow. So those that act in certainty right now, those that push a little harder, those that do a little more, those that give a little more, I guarantee you what you put out comes back. So focus on the good things in your life right now. Focus on the gifts that you have. I am married to the most perfect woman in the world. I was married twice before my one true wife. And so I know what it's like to be married to the wrong person. I also have 3 amazing children. They are gifts to the planet. The world's a better place because they're here. I am honored to be your friend. I am honored to associate with the both of you and your families and all the echo that you have throughout the course of your realm of influence. And again, that's what's going to come out of these times is we're doing this broadcast. We're doing this program. We didn't need anybody to control us. We didn't need anybody to say, oh, you get to do this program. You said we're doing this broadcast. We're going to help some people out. Will some random people stumble across this? Absolutely. Will some people that never knew Marshall Sylver go, dang, that guy is awesome. That was good information. Will some go, that's a raging idiot? Both. And I'm okay with that, because once again, right now, during these times, lose the need for other people's approval. You don't need somebody's approval to have an opinion. Have an opinion. And I think that's the biggest danger the internet has created. It's created mass hypnosis. It's created people afraid to have a real opinion, and the loudmouths always have an opinion, yet the solid, good, confident, caring human beings, because we are that, we tend to bite our tongues. And now is the time to not bite your tongue. Now is the time to say, I refuse to be hypnotized by the politics of what's going on. I refuse to be jerked around by mainstream media, which is owned by the people that want to force me to have an opinion. Here's my opinion. The emperor has no clothes and a little penis.
That's a great opinion. I like it.
I love that.
I approve it. No, it's great, but you're completely right. And I think that's the reason why we're doing this. And it is an honor to have you here, because in the midst of all this, I think we have the responsibility to spread a different message, because we understand that this is not a time to be afraid. For me, I have experienced some setbacks for the past 3 or 4 months. And when we started all this virus stuff, I realized that I was getting prepared for this, and I'm having been more grateful for the past few weeks during this time. I'm having a better time with my family. I'm trying to be a better human, and I'm grateful for this virus at the end of the day.
Yes, it's about a reinvention. It's about a pivot. That's for sure.
Yeah,
It's an opportunity. Really,
It is what it is. And that's very Zen, except it is what it is. And so fighting against whatever is useless. It is what it is. Now what? So what? Now what? What do I do with this right now? And what we do is we connect like this. We, the three of us, might have never had this conversation. And the people that are going to watch this or are watching it now may have never had the conversation with us that they're going to have in the future. So once again, what I love about these times, because I've done probably, 20 of these broadcasts over the last week or so. And I've not done these kinds of broadcasts in the past. I've just never been compelled to, except I posted on Facebook. I said, hey, I got some time on my hands. Anybody want to have an interview? And a lot of people responded to it like you guys did.
Absolutely.
And once again, we're in this together. And that's the biggest message. We, the people, not just of the US, we, the people of this planet, we are in this together. And what's happening right now, the very fabric of the control that mainstream media, our politicians, our governments had over us, my belief is like the Hulk's shirt ripping when they becomes powerful. That's what's going on right now. Is the people are having a conversation, and the people are saying, yeah, there's people getting sick in New York. Yeah, there's people dying in Italy. Yeah, there's people that died, unfortunately, in China. And it doesn't matter where the virus originated, it's a virus. And the virus has been perpetuated by the media, been perpetuated by politics, been perpetuated by people that would seek to manipulate us. And what's great is people rising up and saying, you know what? I'm not going to let you manipulate me. I'm going to look at the numbers. I'm going to look at the math. I'm going to look at the reality. I'm going to have a conversation with someone I trust, like right now. And I'm going to listen to other people's opinions without getting angry, because intelligent people don't need to get angry. Anger is a form of fear. Intelligent people just say, you know what? I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to assist my friends in taking care of their families. I'm going to find the and solution, because it's not either or, it's and we're all going to win together. And if you don't want to join us in that win, so be it. If you want to sit in the midst of fear and horror mongering and that paranoia and anxiety, stay in it. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not going there.
Man,
absolutely.
You said it right. How do we reach out to those folks that can we convert those folks that are full of the negativity and the just all about everything negative, the world's coming in, the chaos? How do we talk to those folks, and say, hey, listen, back it up just a bit. Things aren't exactly like this. Things could be worse. And how do we inspire them to be grateful for what they have and to keep pushing?
Great question, Trevor. Imagine there is a glass, and the glass is half filled with poison. Although a pessimist would say it's half empty of poison. It's half filled with poison. And I take a pitcher of water, pure, drinkable, delicious water, and I start to pour water into that glass. Well, very soon the glass is completely filled, half poison, half water. If I drink it, I might not die, but I'll still become very ill, and that's not pleasurable either. But if I take that glass and I keep pouring that pure water into that glass, what happens? It starts to overflow. And as it overflows, it dilutes that poison more and more and more and more and more. Whereas if I keep pouring, at one point, it's overflowed all the poison. It's diluted it down to the poison being non-existent. And it's just pure drinkable water. That's how we cure anything. We pour into it. We don't run away from it. We don't resist it. We don't surrender to it. We pour into it. And not everybody wants to be pure drinkable water. Some people thrive on being poisonous and being volatile. I don't have toxic relationships in my life. If I realize somebody has a preponderance or a propensity to be toxic, I walk away from them. I say, I love you and not a part of my household. Even if those people are related to me, I say, you know what? You don't get to talk to my kids. You're toxic. You say toxic things. You bring toxic information and toxic realities to this equation. So I love my kids too much. I'm their father. I must protect my family. And the same has to be true with everybody. Pour into somebody. And if they're willing to listen, fine. If all they want to do is fight, argue for your limitations and surely you're right. If all they want to do is fight for, oh, the world's going to die and, Trump's giving hope, false hope. In due respect, there's false pain. There's falseness going on right now. Do we have a virus that's perplexing the planet right now? We do. Will we live it out? Is this going to be the end of society? It's not going to be the end of society. We will beat this. We always do. We always have. The distinction is how quickly and with what attitude. And the best attitude to have in anything is an attitude of a victor rather than a victim. So let's be victors. Let's be certain. Let's pour into other people to the extent they'll allow us to pour into them. And when they won't, when they keep coming and throwing more poison, you say, I respect you. I love you. I don't hold that opinion. I wish you well. And right now, we cannot interact.
Cut them out, right?
Yes,
You don't
I
cut
agree.
them out. You give social distance.
There you go.
I can't be near you right now. You're toxic. And when you're not toxic anymore, let's connect again.
So let's keep practicing social distancing with toxic people.
Yes.
There you go.
Lesson.
Yeah, that's the key, I believe, and it's important. I totally agree with you, and I'm grateful that you're sharing that with our audience because I know people needs to hear this. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna share this in other groups too because we need to spread this message.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to hear this. Definitely. I know that you had mentioned that one of the regrets was that you didn't have a digital program or your stuff converted to digital. Is that something that you're working on right now for folks?
We are definitely about to work on it as soon as I can get within 6 feet of my videographer.
There you go.
Yeah, again, this is me breaking through right now, me doing these kinds of interviews and me doing these kinds of programs. I haven't done them much, not at all. I've been an island, and I realized that was one of my Achilles heels. That was one of my focuses of rejection. And so I will no longer ever be that guy. I will again make myself available to the likes of you and Pedro and people that have an audience and people that are seeking information. And I won't hoard, my certainty. I won't hoard the knowledge that I've, in the last 57 years, been blessed by God to receive. And I think that's the biggest challenge for everybody. We need to understand we all have value. And even if the value is only our experiences and our relatability, then we've got to share that with people. So once again, if you're watching this program right now, you're watching this video, and you're listening to what we're saying, know that you matter. There's nothing about you that's broken. There's nothing about you that needs to nor could be fixed. You're perfect exactly the way that you are. The distinction is, though, you need to understand that if you're still alive, if you're still breathing, if you're still with us now, the universe, God, and I believe in God deeply. I'm not a fan of religion. I'm a deep fan of God, and I have great certainty God exists in our universe. If you are on this planet right now, God has a plan for you. God has a desire for you to add value to other people's lives. You will be rewarded proportionate to the value you give to other people, because what you put out always comes back.
One of the things that you mentioned at a turning point that stick in my mind forever was when you have, I hope I'm saying this correctly, or the way you said, when you have something of value to share with others, you have the moral obligation to share it with everybody else.
Absolutely. You do. And so that's what I'm saying right now is the reason I've jumped on so many of these programs with so many special people like you guys is that I have to. The world's hurting right now. And, people are doing whatever they need to do to be able to get by. And I want everybody to know we've got everything we need. And the one thing that we have that they can't take away from us is numbers. While the government or even the military or the mainstream media attempt to manipulate us, the one thing they don't have that we do is numbers, pure numbers of people. So it's honest people, it's grateful people, it's integrous people. We need to speak up. We need to say the truth. We need to, again, point out you've got Pelosi and Schumer attacking our president, President Trump, for holding back aid to Ukraine, which he didn't do. There was no indication, no evidence that he did that. And then you've got Pelosi holding back aid to the United States citizens, to the people that are here that need it now. It's like, it's insane. And once again, coming back to that analogy of the emperor and his clothes, there's a point where honest, good, kind people, we must speak up. And we've got to say, I'm not buying the hypnosis that you're throwing at me. I don't care if every piece of media, every mainstream media outlet says the same thing. It's not true. You know, again, I know there are people that are sick. The numbers are relatively little on this virus compared to the flu that comes through every single year. And they're not reporting the people that are recovered because it doesn't fit their agenda. They're not reporting the people that got through it and are stronger in their immune system because of it. And so I agree with our president. I follow Q, and I don't know if anybody watching this program follows Q. I follow Q, and Q said, before the president said it, we're going to be back by Easter. We're going to be full-fledged economy starting to ramp up again by Easter. And Trump has said, I would like this thing to be resolved by Easter. Only a businessman, only a non-politician would say that. A politician milks whatever tragedy they can for as much money as they can, for as long as they can. Trump's a businessman that said, no, one way or another, we have to get back to work. There's got to be a point where people are out of their houses again. There's got to be a point where we're thriving again, where businesses are being unshuttered and restaurants are being reopened and people move about freely. And I completely support that, and I believe in that. And like, I caught some hate. I did a post on Facebook to that extent, and I caught a couple of haters, because we always do. There's always going to be trolls that just like to disagree. And again, if we don't come out of hiding, if we don't go beyond this, then we're surely dead. We're guaranteed dead. Everybody's dead. Everybody runs out of food and goes crazy. We've got to. And so I think that's what the focus is. We've got to focus on what we want rather than what we don't want. What I want to get back to doing live events. What I want to get back to, creating digital products that can be delivered remotely. What I want is my kids to be able to play wherever they want, whenever they want, now. So let's stay focused on that. I have a prediction, and I don't know when you guys are going to air this, or even if it's airing live right now. In the next 3 to 4 days, we're going to see a major breakthrough that cures this particular virus. It stops it dead in its tracks. We're going to see that. The moment we see that, and the moment they start reporting the honest truth about the number of people that are recovering from this virus, then the certainty in the population will begin to grow, and you're going to see a comeback like you've never seen in your whole life. You're going to see economies thriving. You're going to see real estate booming, and you're going to see people happier than they've ever been. Let's be certain together.
Absolutely. I truly believe that as well. And I can't wait to go to another turning point.
Yeah. And one of the things we're really excited about too, of course, that, the $1 Million Mastermind coming up next month. Obviously, things have been changed up just a little bit, but you're going to be a guest speaker there as you normally are. And this is given opportunity. Of course, it's been announced now that this is going to be to the masses. It won't just be to the 1,000 folks that we're going to be there live, be there to everybody. Do what?
Ryan is a genius. Ryan Stewman is a genius. Good guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I know we're excited to see you there. I'm sure you're excited as well.
So I have a gift for everybody watching this. Write this down. If you're watching this, take a note, write this down. The web address is the letter M as in Marshall, the letter P as in Paul, the numeral 2, the letter M as in Marshall.com/webinar. So it's MP, the number 2, the letter M.com/webinar. Stands for Missing Piece to Millions.com/webinar. Go to mp2m.com/webinar. There's a 90-minute program there. Watch the program. It's filled with really good information. It will inspire you. It'll help you understand what you're going through right now. And between now and Easter, and I'm going to cut it off at the end of the day on Easter, watch the webinar. It's going to offer up a turning point, just like Pedro attended. It's going to offer up turning point for $1,000 a person, which is what Pedro also paid to go to the event. What I want to tell you, don't buy it. Don't buy it. What I want you to do after you've watched that is contact my office. You can go to Sylver, SYLVER.com. Go to Sylver.com. Contact my customer service people. Tell them you watched this presentation and you also watched the entire webinar. You got to watch the whole webinar. Got to invest the 90 minutes. You do that, I will give you 2 tickets worth $1,000 a piece to Turning Point when we start holding our live events totally free. You got to make the reservation. You got to make the request before Easter, though, the end of day on Easter. Watch the webinar, enjoy the learning, enjoy this presentation. And I just wanted to give your listeners, your viewers, the people that hang out with you, your tribe, this amazing gift, because we're going to get through this. We will all be stronger for it. We'll all be more powerful. And we're all about to step into the age of certainty.
Well,
Awesome.
that is an
Thank you so
incredible
much.
offer. Thank you so much. And I hope for the folks that are listening to this, take advantage of the offer. Watch the 90-minute webinar and get your butts to Turning Point. It'll change your life, no doubt. Mr. Sylver, I'd like to
prove
say
that it will change your life.
Awesome, Pedro. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. And I can't wait to go to another Turning Point because it's a life-changing event.
Awesome.
It is.
Awesome.
Trevor,
Well, hey,
thanks.
I want to say thanks again for joining us today. I know that you're a busy man, and so we really appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to share your value and wisdom with our audience. I know that they're going to be definitely impacted, and it's going to change their life forever. So I'm super excited about that. Thanks again for coming on. Is there anything else that you would like to leave our guests before we end?
Yeah, you're totally loved. The world's a better place because you're here. Be certain.
I love it. Well,
Awesome.
thanks again, Mr.
Thank you.
Sylver. Take care and have a
Yeah.
great day. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.